It was a warrior's funeral, and from morning till night warriors came and went in their age groups.
Iswedu is dead.
Iswedu, if you had been poor in your last life, I would have asked you to be rich when you come again, but you were rich. If you had been a coward, I would have asked you to bring courage, but you were a fearless warrior. If you had died young, I would have asked you to get life, but you lived long. So I shall ask you to come again in the way before you came. If your death was the death of nature, go in peace, but if a man caused it, do not allow him a moment's rest.
It was the dead man's 16-year-old son, who with his brothers and half-brothers had been dancing in the traditional farewell to their father. The only course open to Okonkwo was to flee from the clan. It was a crime against the Earth Goddess to kill a clansman, and the man who committed it must flee from the land. As soon as the day broke, a large crowd of men from Izedu's quarters stormed Okonkwo's compound, dressed in garbs of war. They set fire to his house, demolished his red walls, killed his animals, and destroyed his barn. They were merely cleansing the land, which Okonkwo had polluted with the blood of the clansmen.
Okonkwo was well received by his mother's kinsmen in Mabanta. The old man who received him was his mother's younger brother. His name was Uchendu. Okonkwo was given a plot of ground on which to build his compound and 2 or pieces of land, on which to farm on the coming planting season. With the help of his mother's kinsmen, he built himself an obi and 3 huts for his wives. He then installed his personal god and the symbols of his departed fathers. Each of Uchendu's 5 sons contributed 500 seed yams to enable their cousin to plant a farm. For as soon the first rain came, farming would begin. When the rain finally came, it was in large solid drops of water, which the people called the nuts of the water of heaven.
Work no longer had for Okonkwo the same pleasure it used to have, and when there was no work to do, he sat in a silent half-sleep. Old man Uchendu saw clearly that Okonkwo had yielded to despair and was greatly troubled. He would speak to them after the Issa Ife ceremony. The youngest of Uchendu's 5 sons, Amiku, was marrying a new wife.
Remember that if you do not answer truthfully, you will suffer or even die at childbirth. How many men have lain with you since my brother first expressed the desire to marry you?
None.
Answer truthfully. None.
None.
Swear on the staff of my fathers.
I swear.
On the 2nd day, Uchendu called together his sons, daughters, and nephew, Okonkwo.
It's true that a child belongs to its father, but when a father beats his child, it seeks sympathy in its mother's hut. A man belongs to his father's land when things are good and life is sweet, but when there is sorrow and bitterness, he finds refuge in his motherland. Your mother is there to protect you. She is buried there, and that is why we say mother is supreme. Is it right that you, Okonkwo, should bring to your mother a heavy face and refuse to be comforted? Be careful, or you may displease the dead. Your duty is to comfort your wives and children and take them back to your fatherland after 7 years. But if you allow sorrow to weigh you down and kill you, they will all die in exile. You think you are the greatest sufferer in the world? Do you know that men are sometimes banished for life? Do you know that sometimes men lose all of their yams and even sometimes their children? I had 6 wives once. I have none now except that young girl who knows not from her right or left. Do you know how many children I have buried? Children I have begotten my youth and strength? 22. I have not hanged myself and I am still alive. It was the 2nd year of Okonkwo's exile that his friend Obirika came to visit him. He brought with him 2 young men, each of them carrying a heavy bag on his head. It was clear that the bags were full of cowries.
Have you heard that Abame is no more?
How is that?
Abame has been wiped out. It is a strange and terrible story. If I had not seen the survivors with my own eyes and heard their story with my own ears, I would have not believed. 3 moons ago, on an Eke market day, a little band of fugitives came into our town. Most of them were sons of our land, whose mothers had been buried with us. During the last planting season, a white man had appeared in their clan.
An albino?
He was not an albino. He was quite different, and he was riding an iron horse. The first people who saw him ran away, but he stood beckoning to him. The elders consulted their oracle, and it was told them that the strange man who would break their clan and spread destruction among them. And so they killed the white man and tied his iron horse to the sacred tree, because it looked as if it would run away to call the man's friends.
What did the white man say before they killed him? He said nothing.
He said something, only they did not understand him. Their clan is now completely empty. A great evil has come upon their land. as the oracle had warned.
Never kill a man that says nothing. Those men of Abami were fools. There is nothing to fear from someone who shouts. They were fools. They had been warned that danger was ahead and should have armed themselves with their guns and machetes, even when they went to market.
They have paid for their foolishness, but I am greatly afraid. We have heard their stories about white men who made powerful guns and strong drinks and took slaves across the sea, but no one thought the stories were true.
There is no story that is not true. The world has no end. And what is good among one people is an abomination among others. We have albinos among us. Do you not think that they came to our clan by mistake? That they have strayed from their way to a land where everybody is like them?
That is the money from your yams. I sold the big ones as soon as you left. Later on, I sold some of the seed yams and gave out the others to sharecroppers. I shall do that every year until you return, but I thought you would need the money now, so I brought it. Who knows what may happen tomorrow? Perhaps green men will come to our clan and shoot us.
God will not permit it. I do not know how to thank you.
I can tell you, kill one of your sons for me.
That will not be enough.
Then kill yourself.
Forgive me, I shall not talk about thanking you any more.